All right, everybody, welcome to Lock Pod, Season 10, Episode 15.
What is going on?
Are you sweating?
Who's going to blink first?
Is that the... that's the title of the episode. You already have the title of the episode written?
Not me.
Who's going to blink first?
Not this guy.
Not you?
Dude,
Are you hot in that?
7 a.m.
I just, put it on. I'm not hot yet.
Is this just like you and Dan Carden and like a game of chicken?
I ain't blinking, buddy.
Look, your glasses even match.
That's right.
And the top hat.
Do you have a cummerbund on?
Yeah. No, I got the vest on. This is not as easy as it looks, I'll be honest.
It does not look easy.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
why you don't see people in full tuxes doing podcasts
At 7 a.m.
Right.
What the hell is
What
going
about
on
if people
here?
are just listening? Can we describe what just happened?
Abraham Lincoln.
Well, hold on. I just walked in the studio. I had to pull up my notes, the whole thing. You guys are like,
Because
getting
you stick
ready.
to the script.
I have a feeling it has something to do with this. I'm going to throw this up on the screen.
Yeah. They did a story again.
Unbelievable.
They did another story. I can't wear the headphones like this.
So just take your top hat off. So for people that are just listening to the podcast and not watching the podcast, which is probably like about many
Most
more
of them.
people than are watching, Tom the locomotive just rolled into the studio for season 10, episode 15 with a full tuxedo on and top hat. By the way,
why would I do such a thing, Kevin Smith?
we're going to get into that in a minute because first I want to mention that today's episode is sponsored by Calumet Brewing. Busch Light, the coldest and smoothest light lager, is calling you to embrace the great outdoors, the roar of NASCAR, and the joy of cracking a cold one in a tuxedo. Visit Busch.com and their social media pages for exciting updates and events. Head for the mountains of Busch Light and enjoy beers and cheers responsibly. Thank you to our episode sponsor, Cal Brewing. And now back to why would Tom McDermott
I
have
look
a tuxedo
so goofy.
on?
I look like Abraham Lincoln.
That's what Jill said.
Yeah?
I said, Jill, we
It's
said
like
just
you
what
don't
happened.
listen to me.
Did you? I'm sorry. I do look like Abraham Lincoln.
Don't take you on
I
dates.
thought it was February.
Don't listen to you.
Yeah.
God,
Look at
it's
that.
like we're married.
This is the goofiest podcast look I've ever had. But I normally look good in the suit.
Let's think
and a
about
tux.
that. That's it.
Normally I'm sitting here cool with my Grateful Dead on. But yeah, so by the way, I wanted to, before we get started on why I'm wearing this excellent tux, I want to say congratulations to Mike Brown, Lake County Clerk, Democrat of the Year.
Had a very nice function yesterday in Schererville. And by the way, 3 different people came up to me about LockPod.
Oh, yeah?
2 huge fans, right?
Nice.
And by the way, congrats to the Schererville Democratic Precinct Organization. Did a great job at the dinner. Mike Brown, obviously an old friend of yours and wonderful clerk. And then Denny Herat, former Dyer chairman, says to me, how the expletive are you?
Love you, Denny. Miss you.
That was awesome.
It's hard to take anything you guys are saying seriously.
Yeah, this is not easy. Like, doing it with the top hat on is really hard. I don't understand how people wear top hats. These things are hot. Like, when
Yeah.
you wear it, it's like a little oven on your
Or
head.
what's the one that Lincoln wore? What's it called?
Stove
Stovetop.
pipe. Isn't this like one of those?
Yeah. I think his.
It's pretty tall, the one
It's
I'm
a
wearing.
good question. I think it probably is.
Yeah, I look pretty Lincolnish right now.
Very presidential.
And we have the bust here to.
Yeah.
You could put it. You could put the hat on him. Maybe he gets a stovetop hat.
I was supposed to be the keynote speaker last night. I was asked, and I couldn't do it because my brother
Obligation.
My brother was being recognized 20 under 40 last night.
Congratulations, Brett McDermott.
Yeah.
20 under 40.
Yeah, no pressure, huh?
No.
I wish I had his
I got
photo.
one, Aaron got one. Brett's like, ticking away.
You guys are
getting
like,
closer
look, you
and
got to
closer.
give him one.
Yeah, man. I mean, we don't
Was that a
family.
pity one? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that.
Wow.
I'm saying it would have definitely caused problems in the family if he didn't get it, though. So, like, it's a good thing.
Is Brett getting close to 40? No.
38.
38. He did just sneak
We were
under.
all 38 when we got ours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, where's yours, Kevin?
I didn't get one.
Oh, no way.
Must
Oh,
have the
that's
wrong
too bad.
last name. You get.
What are you trying to say? Brett didn't deserve it?
I'm
That's
not
bullshit,
saying
man.
that.
I don't. Brett, I would never say such a thing.
No.
But congratulations, Brett. We had a good time last night. All the McDermotts were there. Sans, Marissa.
Oh, where was she?
She's couldn't go. She's out of
Gotcha.
town.
She's doing judicial stuff.
She's doing judicial stuff. So she's
So
out of
she
town.
had nothing to do with making sure you look good this morning with
No,
your tuxedo?
man. I look like this when I wake up. This is how I normally roll.
Sleeps
this
in
is
this.
I roll
He
out of bed
sleeps
like
in his
this.
tuxedo.
This is what I mean. That's one of the great things about being married to me. I wear full tux to bed and out. Right.
Some of the comments are hilarious right now
Yeah.
in chat. Yeah. I kind of want to ask him for $200.
I just showed Tom a picture of him on the video,
look
and he's
ridiculous.
like, I look ridiculous.
Are you going to pass candy out wearing that?
I should. This should be my new
great.
look.
All right, so let's get into why
Yeah, let's talk
exactly you're
about
in this tux.
So the other day we were messing around. this like it's hard for me to even explain. Please.
Yeah. So so
It's like we're in a joke inside of the joke inside of the joke.
we're
at
on a
this
third.
point.
Yeah, exactly. So
So I'm ramping up the pressure.
there's an article in the paper a while ago where Tom went off on Biden's age and about whether he should keep running for re-election, and he happened to be in his regular garb, which is a
Grateful Dead
tie-dye, which he loves that shirt.
And then they blasted it in the
Blasted in the Times, and then so last episode on
I didn't
Lock Pod,
feel it looked proper.
correct, for that topic.
I'm sitting there talking about
For
the
a
president.
podcast, like,
But
there's
like
a dress code.
it's like a different. It's like they're taking things out of context. I mean, I actually said it, but like you can't take the dude in a Grateful Dead shirt and blast it on the front page. That's all I was saying, right?
They did.
They
But
did.
but you
I think
can.
they can do whatever
And
they
they-
want.
and they quoted
They're
you
freaking media.
accurately.
No, they quoted me accurately. I'm not denying I said it. I'm just saying, like, if we were at a concert or something and I said something, does it go on the front page?
No.
You're like,
But you're not being, this is a podcast.
but I was wearing a Grateful Dead shirt. That should give me free reign to say whatever I want.
No.
Well-
you're open. So anyway, so then last episode, episode 14, Tom comes in a shirt and tie and is like, "Hey, now take a picture of me. Come on, I dare you."
I dare you.
And they did. And
was
they
at the end
posted
of the show.
They posted this news story.
We were being funny. Like 12 seconds left in the show. I'm like, come on, do it now. And then we're like, okay, take care, everybody. Lock Pod's out. And we went out.
But Dan Carden upped the ante.
Yeah.
And he said, "Here, I'm gonna do an article about you complaining about the fact that you were in your tie dye."
it was literally an article about the show, about the show, about the show.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And now here we are.
Ha.
Who's going to blink first?
There you go, Dan Carden in the Times.
Here we go. Let me get a
Hey.
shot of you. All right.
Let's go.
with the headphones on. It's so ridiculous.
I think
What?
the
Who's gonna blink
Times
first?
is going to blink first because how
Oh,
long can they run
There's
these articles?
no way. There's
but
no way.
what article got bumped for that to run?
you look like you have black.
Yeah.
You look like,
Stuff going on in Ukraine.
Screw that.
Nobody. They're like, bump Ukraine. McDermott's wearing a suit.
Right.
you look like you have black earmuffs on. Like
I know.
it matches.
It does.
I'm like,
Just absurd.
It's like you should be looking for a groundhog or something.
Oh man, yes. Punxsutawney Phil. Here comes
That's
Mayor
right.
Tom.
that's right.
All right. So there's a game of chicken going on.
And I ain't gonna lose.
Ain't
'Cause
losing.
I don't know what you do after this.
They don't do an article on this. They're like,
Full
see, that,
nudity.
you win.
Yeah.
If there's no article on your tux, you win.
Hold it. Let me flex. John, one more
hard to
time.
do
One more
this.
time.
with the earmuffs. And you have your black.
'Cause
Your,
if they're
your
gonna
ring
use
is
it-
black. I mean, this is like all.
Yeah, man.
By the way, if they do blink and if they don't blink and they put an article now of you in a tux, now what are you going to wear next?
You have nowhere to go at this point.
We'll
The
figure
joke is
something
over.
out.
Like I ramped up the pressure so high. This is literally
The
end
end
of
of the joke is over.
Yeah, you can't wear any more than a tux.
I agree with you.
I don't know. Tuesday is Halloween.
Oh,
Sequins.
You could wear the craziest Halloween outfit.
Huh.
I don't know what that would
Holy
be.
crap! We have Lockpot on Halloween.
yes,
Yeah.
Lockpot
Yeah.
on a Halloween with a great Halloween guest who has solved
Yeah.
whether or not aliens exist. So please tune in for the Halloween show.
That's nice of him.
We got
Yeah,
Dick
thank
Wybrow
goodness.
for your show though, Jill.
Dick
Yeah.
Wybrow's
Yeah,
coming on.
Can't wait.
I love.
You
that
love
name.
werewolves and
I wish my name was
such,
Dick
don't you?
Wybrow. Mayor Dick.
Change
Mayor
it.
Mayor Wybrow.
maybe people call you that already anyway.
They
Yeah,
do.
you don't have to.
Maybe
change
They
it.
don't even
Dick.
call me. Yeah, they just say Dick part. They don't say
Minus
part.
mayor.
Mayor
Yeah.
Dick. Be
Right.
like, yeah, I like Dick.
That's the name of the show.
Dick is
There you
nice.
Um,
That's the name of the show.
yeah, Dick Wybrow. He's gonna fucking hang up. Like, listen to the show. He's
For
like,
sure.
Yeah.
I heard you talk to him though, John.
I did. We did a test because he's Skyping in from New Zealand.
Whoa, what time is it?
I don't know.
I think it's tomorrow there.
Or is it yesterday? No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow there.
It's Saturday.
What's
it
tomorrow
tomorrow?
gonna be like? I'm gonna ask him what the
It's
future. is gonna
November
be.
already.
Yes.
Tell me how tomorrow's gonna be.
How's the reaction to my tuxedo going to be tomorrow?
Am I
will
gonna be
say-
on the front page.
I will say this. When we did the Skype test, like I think his real name is on Skype, so I think it is a pen name.
Ooh.
See, I called that shit.
But then you did, and then we have to determine why he chose Dick
because
Wybrow.
it's a
Exactly.
fucking awesome name. That's why, like, you just say Dick Wybrow and you're like, bam, he's gonna be a bestseller.
You know what? Since it's tomorrow in New Zealand, I wonder if you're already on the front page.
we should ask him.
We'll have
Yeah,
to
so
ask.
I believe it is officially tomorrow in New Zealand. So
Hey,
you're gonna
You're
get
probably right.
unique insight into what's gonna happen tomorrow if you continue to listen to Lockpod.
Mm-hmm.
Hope he tells us the lottery number.
Oh, great! That's
Why don't
another
people
good.
do this all the time?
Just talk to people from New Zealand.
Yeah.
We're going to do it
Makes
at
total sense.
about 8:10. So stay tuned. By the way, you want to talk about yesterday? We had a really cool event that you hosted.
Yeah, police promotions. It was really that was the biggest one we've done. Did you go, Joe?
Didn't know what was happening.
Really?
Nope.
I don't know how. Like, well, first off, it was a big class. It was probably 15, 14, 13, something like that.
At least 10.
It was a very diverse group. It was a very great group of officers all getting promoted. And so all the officers were there. Most of the Hammond PD was there. All the family members were there. There was
There wasn't a
500 people.
seat on the floor.
Yeah,
I was
there was
standing in the
150
back.
seats, and they were filled, and people were standing. So let's call it all day long with the cops and everything. There's a couple
I'd say
hundred.
300.
Okay, so big event, great event. I was getting choked up because a couple of the officers I've known really well, and they're getting promoted. It was a really cool event. Like one problem though for me, I was wearing what do they call it? The microphone.
Lapel mic.
Yeah, was that yours, John? You gave it to me.
No, I think it was HPD's
Yeah, I don't like
for
those
their
things.
stream.
Thank you, Steve.
What happened?
Thank you, Steve
'Cause
Kellogg, our
I
business manager.
Because I'm stupid, and they put these things on me, and I forget I got it.
It's hard for
Oh,
me
did you go to the bathroom?
No.
No,
Oh,
but I was saying
that'd have
some
been good.
dumb
Remember I
shit
did
though,
that.
and people came up and they're like, "Don't worry, we won't put that on Go Hammond." I'm like, "Oh my god, I've been wearing this thing for like a half
Don't
hour."
worry, it's not
That's
live.
dangerous.
Yeah, mark my words. If there's a scandal in my administration, it's gonna be because I'm wearing one of those damn things.
no.
I'm gonna say some dumb shit, and it's gonna be like live on Go
Offend a bunch
Hammond.
of people.
Yeah,
That's a
'cause
setup.
At least when I'm on Lockpot, I know I'm on. Like I'm walking around clueless, and I'm live on Go Hammond.
Yeah. And that's Steve Kellogg,
Yeah, man.
our business manager
Freaking
here at
like,
Lockpod.
I'm saying all kinds of dumb shit with the microphone on.
Blackmail.
Did you guys hear about this guy?
He's getting promoted very soon. Steve's gonna make captain in a couple weeks.
Yeah. That's right.
Steve's
Erase
like-
those tapes, Steve.
Exactly.
He's got like a new take-home car and all that.
So there was this multi-millionaire who was always suspected of killing like 3 people in like the 80s. Did you guys hear about this?
Oh, I
No.
did hear about this.
No.
Dude, like in the 80s, he was suspected of killing these people. Was never charged. Decades go by, and HBO is like, hey, we want to do a documentary about these murders. Would you sit down and talk with us? He sits down and talks with them, and then at one point in the interview, he's like, I got to go to the bathroom. The dude was wearing his lapel mic and admitted, he was like talking to himself in the bathroom. This is what he said. What the hell did I do? Killed them all, of course. He's just
Whoa.
talking to himself in the
Oh,
bathroom.
Robert Durst.
Yeah.
I remember this.
The
I remember
dude
this
got
now.
away with murders for decades, and then a lapel mic sinks him, bro.
See?
Crazy.
Lapel mics.
We're going to find out who you killed.
Lapel mics are freaking the downfall
Watch
of society.
those lapels.
Much worse
Hot
than social
mics.
media. Yeah.
The first one I remember is Ronald Reagan, right? He was
Oh,
on a
yeah.
hot mic like,
This dumb son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
no, he said
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like release the missiles or something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Or like,
Oh, that's right.
Well, all of
Yeah.
them say stupid crap with it.
Yeah.
Well, Jesse Jackson did for
Bush.
Barack Obama. When Barack Obama was running for president, before Barack Obama was the nominee, Jesse Jackson was whispering something to a fellow African American, and they were in like some organization, NAACP or
Rainbow Push,
or
yeah.
whatever. But they were like big wigs in that organization. And Jesse Jackson at the time leaned over and said something like, "I'm going to bust this guy." Like he was talking
Whoa.
smack about Obama, and this is before Obama was president. But it was vulgar too. But like he got caught on a hot mic. It was hot mics, man. They'll do
dangerous.
you in.
Remember
I'm never
that.
wearing a hot mic again, Kellogg, because of that last night.
Those lapel mics can get you.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, let's do some ads. Come back. We're going to talk about this magic mushroom tour allegedly on the and also kind of try to bust holes in this theory.
Yeah.
So
but
we're going to talk about that.
So there's a pilot that tried to crash an airplane because
Yeah.
he was on mushrooms.
We're going to discuss that. We're going to go in deep on this, and then we're also going to talk about the new speaker and figure out who the hell he is, and then we're going to get into Dick Wybrow.
Dick
So
Wybrow.
let's
will
do
be
some
coming
ads,
in.
Mayor.
We're going to get into Dick.
Yeah.
Getting in some dick. So come on back. We're like, Customer Insurance
Why
Agency.
did you like that word so much?
For decades,
It's the
the-
gift that keeps on giving.
It's a great name. He picked it for a reason. For decades, the Ron J. Customer Insurance Agency has been your trusted neighbor right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. Their wide range of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more, has helped over 1,000 individuals and businesses throughout the Chicagoland area. Call Ron or Ronnie today at 219-844-0103. They're here to protect what matters most to you.
Byway Brewing, a family-friendly microbrewery, welcomes you to their spacious taproom and outdoor patio. Enjoy award-winning craft beer, a chef-driven menu, and craft draft cocktails. Their unique brewing equipment and production facility provide a perfect backdrop for private events, whether it's a bridal shower, reunion, or corporate party. With their new food truck, they can cater to your corporate and private events off-site. Customer service is our top priority at Byway Brewing. Just off 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Discover more at bywaybrewing.beer.
Kuklakis Law. Are you currently navigating complex legal challenges, unsure of where to turn for guidance? Your search ends here with Kuklakis Law, your trusted partner for legal solutions in Indiana and Illinois. Whether you're seeking expert representation for real estate transactions, need assistance in forming your business, or have experienced a personal injury at work or in a car crash, Kuklakis Law is here for you. No matter the nature of your legal issue, their team is ready to help. Call Kuklakis Law today at 219-671-6347 to schedule your free consultation. Hablamos Español.
Rogers Roofing. When you demand nothing but the best for your home and your family, trust the industry leader, Rogers Roofing. For over 54 years, they've been transforming homes in Northwest Indiana and the Chicagoland area. Their commitment to quality shines through in their roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the most comprehensive warranties in the business. Visit our website at rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 to schedule your free consultation. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
Now you just kind of look cool.
There you
like
go.
you got your vet.
I normally
like
do.
The top hat's off.
Are you taking an article of clothing off every 5 minutes?
by Wybrow segment,
Bare-chested.
I'll be ready to
I mean,
go.
it's a story about a werewolf, so
That's
maybe
right.
it's your your inner werewolf's coming out.
Okay, hey, we have a really cool, not really cool, it's an interesting story.
Scary if you were on the plane.
Yeah, scary if you're on the plane. Why don't we go ahead and, hey, John, could you click on the TikTok link we got? It sort of explains it pretty well, and then we'll jump in, because I call bullshit on this story.
All right, here we go.
Our first look at 44-year-old Alaska Airlines captain Joseph Emerson in court facing 83 counts of attempted murder after he allegedly attempted to turn off the engines of Alaska Flight 2059 while he was off duty and riding in the cockpit jump seat Sunday night.
We've got the guy that tried to shut the engines down out of the cockpit.
According to newly released court documents, Emerson told police he was having a nervous breakdown, hadn't slept in 40 hours, was battling depression, and had consumed, quote, magic mushrooms 2 days earlier. About a half hour into the flight, the pilots told investigators Emerson threw off his headset and pulled red fire handles like these that can cut off fuel to the engines. One of the pilots said he wrestled Emerson away from the controls and asked him to leave the cockpit. Police say Emerson told them he did it because I thought I was dreaming and I just want to wake up.
Fear.
You want me to keep
I
going?
have
That's
questions.
good.
No.
Yes.
That lays the groundwork pretty well.
Investigators, Emerson.
Jill, questions.
He took mushrooms 2 days before?
Thank you.
All right, we're going to
What?
get exactly
honestly,
the best question.
You know, in America, they made a lot of progress with psilocybin. Psilocybin. They've made a lot of progress with like therapy and things of that nature, using psilocybin as a medicine to help people overcome depression, smoking, and stuff like that. And it seems like a story like this could derail it, because I've been to a lot of dead shows. I've seen a lot of people go to concerts, and if they do take,
I've seen mushrooms being sold at the Dead Show.
Yeah, they did sell them there, but
on Shakedown Street.
But anybody that knows
Whoa.
anything about this particular substance, and I don't use it, and I just want to make that clear, but I do know a couple things about this. It doesn't last more than 3 or 4 hours. It does not. Like, it doesn't last 2 freaking days. If you take it,
Someone in chat's going to confirm this.
2 days later. Well, I pulled some stats.
Yeah, I saw that, and that's
Yeah.
actually a really interesting article. I mean,
It's off of I got this one out of the Washington Post, by the way. So
it's
this is legit.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy for him to say, "Oh, mushrooms are what made me pull the. I'm in a dream, and I pulled the the handles."
Right.
You got to have a defense, right?
I guess, yeah, but man,
But-
2 days earlier.
But, okay, so I have a logistical question. They said he was in the jump seat?
Yes.
So there was a pilot, a co-pilot,
Yep,
and then
correct.
him?
And then
Correct.
he was just like jumping to the next state because like he had to go to another airport to fly the plane.
Right, but like he got in between the pilot and the co-pilot?
No, I
it's
think-
like
Controls?
behind both of them in the middle.
Correct.
It's like a jump seat, like between the pilot and co-pilot, like right behind him. He's
Like a
literally sitting
triangle.
So you'd have to like reach forward.
like a
and they were like,
triangle.
"What
Okay.
what are you doing?" And they grabbed
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Gotcha.
And by the way, if he's tripping balls 2 days later, like how does he know exactly what handle to grab?
Well, I mean, maybe
Like
it's
the two
instinctual.
handles that cut off the freaking fuel to the engines. Like
Yeah.
there's all kinds of gadgets and lights and
Good point.
Let's
I see
say
what you're saying.
you're in there and you can barely see because you're tripping so bad on mushrooms and you happen to grab the two exact handles that kill the plane. That doesn't sound to me like a guy that's tripping balls. Like it sounds to me like he knew exactly what he was
I
doing.
mean, pretty scary. The other thing I learned is that pilots have to self-report mental issues. They don't get psychologically tested after their first initial licensing.
I know I'm legit because my doctor
Mm-hmm.
is a pilot doctor.
Mike Forright?
No, my doctor, my Chicago doctor. Forright's mine.
Doctor Kevin.
Yeah,
That's
he
right.
retired-
Any
he retired.
longer.
He retired.
Place
No,
went on TV.
my Chicago doctor that's what he does. He does
licenses United Pilots
and mayors
and mayors.
and
Yes.
a mayor particularly. Yeah.
I was gonna say, like, if look at the like just this screenshot. Alaska Airlines pilot hadn't slept in 40 hours, battling depression, consumed magic mushrooms. This is just one pilot. Are all the other
That
pilots
guy seems like a
got
riot.
some issues?
Well, I'm sure there are some
This
out
is a
there.
fun
I mean,
pilot.
here-
He's smiling, of course. He's like, hey.
there are at least two reported incidents of pilots over the last 20 years that have downed planes on purpose.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yes.
That what about the one over the Indian Ocean?
Well, that's
I remember that
unconfirmed,
one.
but that's
Yeah.
speculation about that.
yeah,
Malaysia flight,
right,
whatever.
And
90.
that was so gone, nobody's ever going to find it
Yep,
again.
gone.
Right?
Do you guys ever, when you're on a plane and the pilot comes in, do you ever like just kind of like, hey, yeah, I like the vibe of this guy, or oh, I don't know, I'm kind of worried.
What would happen if you didn't like?
Do you
the vibe?
leave?
Would you
Like,
get up?
What are you going to do? You're like,
You'd
man.
have to have a strong damn feeling.
He looks like he's been on magic mushrooms for 48
I'm out.
hours.
I'm
I'm
out.
out later.
getting
I
the
just
next
met
flight.
the pilot. See ya.
Well, how about the...
And then you're secretly hoping the plane crashes. Of course, if you walk off a plane, you're like, this plane's going down.
Yep.
And when it makes it, you're sort of probably a little
You're
depressed.
like bummed.
You're
Well, no,
damn,
you're just like, man, I
could've
could've just
totally
got
been
on there.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Could have.
He also, by the way, after he went to the back and they zip tied his hands, he tried to get out of an emergency exit.
Right.
Or open the emergency exit. This guy is... Think about it. He's flying your plane.
dude.
Yeah, man.
Charged with
See?
83.
86.
You know, I mean,
86
everybody-
counts of attempted murder.
Well, that means how many people
Everybody
were
on the
airplane.
plane.
86.
That's right. Right.
I know, but it's like all for like lifting your arms, grabbing some handles in a moment of desperation or whatever he's feeling. His life is over.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. I mean,
Just
talk
same
about
as
being
pulling the
screwed.
trigger.
Dude.
What about when you wake up
Federal-
from that? What do you
federal
wake?
charges,
Oh, yeah.
national
Federal
news.
and state charges.
Like
Oh, my God.
Alaska Airlines, tons of bad publicity. So they're like,
Yes.
revenue. They're
dude,
pissed.
they're getting killed. There's people like, I ain't ever flying Alaska Airlines.
What other pilots are out there?
right?
Yeah, I mean, think about when he woke up and he's like, "Holy shit, what did I just do?"
I know what he
Kevin, you
did.
said something about self-reporting. Like, what other careers do people have to self-report versus you have to get mental tests every?
Oh, lawyers don't have to. They have to self-report.
Really?
So yeah, and you're supposed to.
Why would you self-report?
If you don't, and it's found out that
Self-report
you didn't
what?
self-report, like if you get
Mental
arrested.
issues.
Oh, yeah,
no,
you get it,
I
yeah,
thought you meant
okay.
like mental.
Oh, mental
Yeah,
issues.
Cops, firemen have to report like if they get arrested.
Yep, but I
Right.
mean, I don't know
That's
about
not
mental
a-
issues. That's the
yeah.
question. I wonder if doctors do. I don't know.
I imagine.
don't know. Pilots.
If you're
pilots apparently have to
licensed, I imagine.
self-report.
If you're licensed, I imagine you have to. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and with lawyers, I know it's like called not EAP, but it's something like that, where like
Yeah.
they have
EAP.
lawyers' assistants. You
Right.
can reach out
EAP.
for their addiction.
Oh no, not EAP. Yeah,
No, yeah,
LAP,
it's like-
LAP, lawyers assistants.
You're
program.
right. You can reach out to LAP, and they do. They can help with addiction or mental health issues. So
All right. So, I got a text from a fan of the show the other day, and they said, and this is a person I respect very much, is a big lawyer in the region. Okay. And he said, you guys are literally like way ahead of everybody else in the media. You're talking about stuff that's totally applicable. And first off, I didn't know that person listened. So thank you to Joe for listening. And secondly, we are talking about stuff before it comes out. And one of the things that we've been talking about is Gavin Newsom is running for president. And nobody
I'm a
realizes
fan.
it. Nobody realizes it except for Gavin Newsom and Lockpod. Like we've been saying, and like John was like, what the fuck is Gavin Newsom doing in Texas? And we're like, he's running for president. What's Gavin Newsom giving speeches in Florida? He's running for president. What's Gavin Newsom
Doing
doing
on
in
Hannity.
freaking Beijing?
Yeah, that's right.
Sitting next to Chairman Xi. He's running for president.
Dude, crazy.
yeah, I mean, like what? I was thinking about this. Like
blatant.
how many countries are there in the world? 280 or something like that, or 296? I forget. Anyway, like I would think 80% plus of those are not going to get a audience with Chairman Xi.
Yeah, countries.
Exactly.
Yeah,
countries.
leaders of countries.
Right.
And Gavin Newsom sitting there in a nice plush
The
chair with
governor,
him.
the governor of California. Even
I forget what is
Nancy
California-
Pelosi went to Beijing last year. She didn't meet with Chairman Xi.
You know, like the vice chair or something.
Right.
Like that.
That's the Speaker of the House. Nancy Pelosi, one of the most famous women politicians in American history. And she can't even. Gavin Newsom flies
Look how
out
comfortable he looks, by the
Dude.
way. It's like he looks. I don't know. I mean, maybe I've got a little bit
Your
of a crush, but
your brother's listening.
he looks good, man.
You're gonna say he looks presidential.
good.
I know you were.
He does. Look
Yeah,
at
he
it. Look at how he sits
I
in
know
that chair.
Kevin. I know where Kevin was going. I know, man. Gavin's cool.
Crosses his
watch
But,
leg
but
correctly.
Kevin, how do you reconcile the fact that your brother, who lives in California, can't stand this man, and you and I are like having a man crush on him? How
I
do you
think it's.
reconcile
I think
that?
it's just if you live with somebody day to day, it's like maybe he didn't like the way he ran the state, but I think he'd run the country well. Look at him. Man.
What do you think of the body language here? Who
Love
wins?
it.
Who wins with the body language?
I think they.
Xi or Newsom?
They're both comfortable.
I think they both real comfortable.
Dude, play that again, John. I wanna see
My
Chairman-
brother's convinced that Xi wins the body language race here.
Let me see.
He says like Xi leans away at the end or something. I don't know.
He leans away.
I don't think
right,
he's interested.
Right here, he leans away. Well, yeah, Gavin's pulling
No.
his hand over. And
You know
right
what I
here,
think?
right there, yeah.
Oh yeah. You know what I think? She thinks he's screwing over Biden by doing this.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Right?
Who's that? Some other dude just
I
got
don't know
to
who
come
that is.
in.
I think this is like equivalent of China endorsing Newsom
Yeah.
for president, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Why doesn't Gavin just bust out and run? He
Yeah.
would. Whoever does this, and it's not the congressman that's announcing he's running for Democratic president. Like it's got to be somebody big. That'd be like if I announced I was running for president, it'd be like. What I'm saying is a guy like Gavin Newsom or a guy like Pete Buttigieg or Gretchen Whitmer. Or I keep on saying the same three, but if they announce right now they're challenging Biden in a primary, the Democratic Party would be on fire with excitement.
Yeah.
It would be
Yep.
the biggest thing going in politics.
And by the way, Trump can't beat either of them.
no,
Or
And
all three of them.
Like
Trump can't beat who?
we're struggling.
I don't think Trump could beat Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom, or Whitmer.
not with an energized party behind him, because we're not energized. Like you want to get a
John-
bunch of 20-year-olds excited about Joe Biden's presidency, it's not going to happen.
Right. So, John, here's what I would say about that, because I know you were asking me that on purpose, but I think this is what I would say about Trump. He has his base. I don't think Trump has gained votes since 2020, and the middle of the country will decide the election, and they won't vote for him.
The middle of the country will not vote for Newsom. I'll tell you that.
I think they
think
will.
so. I do
Dude,
too.
he has a laundry list of extreme
Yeah,
policies.
he was the
Sure,
mayor of San
California.
Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
I
was
don't
the
think
first
he's
politician
winning.
I ever heard of that was marrying gay people. He was the first politician.
Hmm.
I thought he was freaking insane. I was like, holy crap, because I'd met him. I've known Gavin. We met early on in my career. He was a mayor at San Francisco. I was a mayor of Hammond. And I watched this guy just propel. And when he started marrying LGBT couples, I was like...
As mayor.
As mayor, it was so far out in front of everybody. He was so far out in front. I was like, wow. Like, and now look at him. Now it's every day
I mean, I still...
in America.
My math, John, is that Biden, in my opinion, still beats Trump, and I don't think Trump gains additional votes since 2020. So Newsom's not going to lose to him.
I don't think Trump gains additional votes either, Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Trump's at but I guess you have to figure out if there's the
Trump
election
voters
deniers. But
Trump voters are hardcore,
yeah. Oh, absolutely. But that's
Yeah.
30% of
but
the
that's a dwindling.
electorate
It's a dwindling.
every day.
Yeah.
It's like World War II veterans.
It's
They're
like
dwindling
it's like
every day.
My pops is one of his supporters.
Sure.
I don't understand it. My dad comes to a thing the other day wearing a Trump
God.
shirt.
Stop.
Oh,
The one with
God.
Trump like frowning and never surrender or something like that.
Even
Oh,
though
the
he
Oh
was-
my
Mugshot?
God, that's the best shirt.
Yeah.
It's
He's
got
so
it.
ironic.
I know, right?
Never surrender.
Never
When he-
surrender. He's getting
He was
the
he was
mugshot.
surrendering.
right.
is
He
literally
had
what
surrendered
authorities.
that very moment.
Yeah, that's the shirt my dad was wearing. And I swear, I swear, Dad,
that's
I'm
awesome. never
going to wipe your butt when it comes time. It's like, you
You
keep
can
wearing that
shit all over
goddamn shirt.
yourself.
If I do, I'm going to wipe it with that shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like I know he did it to piss me off. So, yeah.
Where did he wear it to? Like just a family
It was a
function?
family thing.
That's
and,
hilarious.
I didn't even acknowledge it. I just I didn't freaking
He
talk
wanted
to him.
you to. You
I
know he
didn't
did.
talk to him the whole night. I stayed on the other side of the house because I didn't have nothing nice to say. And,
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh.
and I'm doing all these nice things for him. And, he's still wearing that stupid.
Rubs it in your face.
Yeah, man. Hey, we got a new Speaker of the House, Kevin.
We
Who
do.
is this guy?
Who in the hell is he?
Who the fuck is this dude?
I don't know.
I've never seen this dude.
Apparently, he worked at Noah's Ark in Kentucky.
Yeah, man. And by the way, that was
Noah's Ark?
Yes.
that was the first time I'd heard about
In
it.
Kentucky? Noah's Ark?
You haven't heard about this?
Oh,
yeah.
It is insane.
There's a theme park. It's the like a 1-to-1 model size of the Ark. Noah's
So
Ark.
How big was the Ark?
Big.
God, that's a good question.
It had every
question.
animal
Read
in
the
world,
Bible.
right?
Apparently, I had dinosaurs on it.
Right,
and
he
stuff.
made him.
Hold on.
He made him put dinosaurs in it.
Yeah,
So Noah's Ark has rides in it?
let me
No.
play this for
Did
you.
the
It's
real Noah have rides in the Ark?
We don't know.
Here it is.
This
is
is-
insane.
Apparently where the current new House Speaker worked?
For. It was
theme
one of
park.
his clients.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
Wow. Does it float?
We need a big rain to determine whether it floats. I'm going to say no.
People give me shit because I wanted to build the Statue of Liberty, and look at this monstrosity.
Privately owned, though. You weren't going to use your own money for the statue.
My brother has been to this. He said it's pretty awesome, actually.
There's rides in there?
I don't know.
How big is that thing?
That thing's looks
massive.
I have a feeling it's like
at that.
creationists that must want this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got to check it out.
So there's another clip here about it.
Interesting.
Want me to
This
play
is
this?
great. Yeah, this is funny. Just a poor.
This is a life-size recreation of a fictional Bible story that everyone here believes is true. So it says that Noah was 600 years old when he did this. How was he able to live?
Oh my God! Did we just lose internet?
Yeah, right.
Anyway, that's the idea.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, anyway, Speaker Johnson, the things I learned about him so far is that he's against supporting Ukraine. He's conservative evangelical from Louisiana, first elected to the House in 2016.
Wait, what was the first stat about Ukraine?
He's against supporting Ukraine. He's against supporting Ukraine, but he did support Israel in the resolution that was first. He's an attorney with a focus on constitutional law. That's always a little bizarre. Right?
Yeah.
Like, how do you make a living?
He was probably a teacher, right?
No, I don't think
Attorney specializing in constitutional law. I mean, to me, he was probably a professor.
Okay.
Who specializes in constitutional law?
No, I don't know the answer to that. Constitutional law professors.
Right. Right.
Or
He was
people
still
that-
an attorney.
Or maybe people that argue in the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Okay, maybe.
Right.
So,
Solicitor General.
yes, he joined a group of House Republicans and voted to sustain the objection to electoral votes on January 6, 2021. During Trump's first impeachment trial, he, along with other GOP lawmakers, served a largely ceremonial role in Trump's Senate impeachment team. And he sent an email from a personal email account in 2020 to every House Republican soliciting signatures for an amicus brief in the long shot Texas lawsuit that got panned by Supreme Court scholars and thrown out.
Holy shit! I love this guy.
All right.
He also pushed
Let's
the
go.
narrative that there was software that affected the election.
Yes, let's go, Johnson.
How is he going to? And he's got 3 weeks to figure out how to keep the government open or not.
Yeah, that's coming. That vote's coming.
There's no way he's going to keep the government open.
No,
You
I
don't
agree.
think so?
No,
He didn't get put there to keep the government
agree.
open.
Wow.
Well, although I did hear him say they're going to do, he wants to negotiate, and he doesn't think 3 weeks is enough time to do what he wants to do.
Oh.
So he may do like a short termer, but he didn't get put there to, unless he gets concessions, the government shutting down.
And he's a fiscal conservative, so that
Oh
would
no,
also
he's gonna
indicate
draw
that-
blood. He's gonna draw blood, and if it doesn't, the government will shut down. Which, quite frankly, that's how compromise works. You have to, I'm
Push the
speaking-
button.
The Republican Party has the House of Representatives. That's important.
Very.
They won it, so like you're gonna have to
By a
you're gonna
few
have to deal
votes.
with them. You're gonna have to deal with them. It's part of the deal. So
And not
As long
roll
as,
over like
by the way,
McCarthy.
as long as the Republican caucus votes together, right? If they
right,
don't,
right.
then
yeah, if you can split them up. Right.
yes.
All right, we got Dick Wybrow coming on, the author of Kane, a gentleman from New Zealand. He's going to talk to us about, his
Werewolves?
book and werewolves.
I want to
and-
find out how little his dog really is.
Okay,
Keeps
that's
on saying
good
a
stuff.
tiny
So,
dog.
From what I understand, I've heard a few people
little
who
is
talked to
this
this guy.
dog?
They said this guy's a riot, by the way. So no,
Oh, that's
no pressure, Dick.
I was going to say your pressure.
I'm putting-
Pressure's getting
So let's go
up.
ahead. Tortillas Nuevo Leon sets the gold standard in Mexican cuisine across the Midwest. Look for their iconic red and white label at your local grocery store. Indulge in the finest Mexican products crafted with local expertise and savor the taste of authenticity. Discover the flavors of Tortillas Nuevo Leon today.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti, tu familia de todo corazón. Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti, tu familia de todo corazón.
IBEW Local 697 and NECA proudly introduce Powering Indiana, Lake County. With over a century of experience, they've been safely wiring the region. Well, that's not a good sentence. From powering corporations along the lakefront to lighting up homes across the region, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your trusted source for electrical professionals. Visit jact697.org to join us as we continue to light the way for Northwest Indiana.
Misprint Printing. Elevate your brand with Misprint, the premier printing and sign solution in Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana. With a 30-year legacy of excellence, their experienced team, led by Rick Baltensberger, combines innovation and technology to deliver top-quality signs and printing and metal business cards, always on time and within budget. Visit them at misprintusa.com to bring your vision to life today. Misprint, your partner for creating impactful visual solutions.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. When you're facing legal challenges or injuries, they're here to guide you through the process. Their dedicated team, including John and Kristen Cantrell, is in court and at the jail every day, ready to fight for your rights. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW. That's 219-554-4529. Or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com and discover how they can make a difference in your case.
Thank you to all our sponsors, including our episode sponsor, Cal Brewing.
Ladies and gentlemen, from New Zealand, I'd like to introduce the author of the book Kane. The first time we've had a citizen from New Zealand on our show, I'd like to introduce Mr. Dick Wybrow. Thank you and welcome to Lockpod, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's early here
What
at the
time?
moment, but I got up especially for you guys. It is 2:11 at the
AM?
morning.
Wow.
We're not worth that.
Is it Saturday or
No.
Friday?
It's actually, we're in the future here. It's Saturday. But if you live in New Zealand, you're sworn to secrecy.
Really?
I can't tell you what's going to happen.
Do you have
Yeah.
to do a lot of
Yeah.
Skypes like this in the middle of the night like you're doing right now?
Yep. Because many of my readers are either in the UK or in the US, and so when I'm speaking to some of them, if there's readers groups or on occasion I'll get like moms groups or whatever it might be that are in reading circles and they'll want to speak, and so I got to drag myself up and speak with them, which
You
I
look
love
great,
doing.
though. I mean, I look like crap at 2:11
you.
in the morning. You look wonderful.
Did you go to sleep on Friday night, or did you just keep going?
I did. I have I have narcolepsy, so I'm used to being tired all the time. So I sleep in bursts. So I slept for about 3 hours, and my little alarm went off. Is that time to get up and be awake, or pretend to be awake for the next couple of hours and crash again
So I
after
got a
that?
question about narcolepsy. So you've had it diagnosed. You have narcolepsy. So does that mean you can like fall asleep and while you're driving, or like while you're sitting on a chair?
It's different for everybody. And in fact, I found out that I have narcolepsy. I wasn't trying to find that out at all. I was married at the time to a woman. She had this condition. It was hypochondria. And we ended up going in because she was convinced that she had narcolepsy. And so she sat down and she went through everything with the doctor. And he said, "No, I don't think you have narcolepsy, but I think
Get
he
out of
might."
here.
And just something from the way
Not
I was
you, but he
standing,
does.
or
Were you asleep?
my blatant indifference at that moment. I don't know what it was. But yeah, so they hooked me up with all the, as you've seen, all the wires on the head and everything. I sat down, they slept, and they wake you up every couple hours and give you a bit of a quiz, which might have made narcolepsy worse at the time. But I've been diagnosed with it. So I'm not one of those that will automatically fall asleep. I'm just tired all the time. And there's some people that have it a lot worse than me. There's something called like cataplexy. And so some narcoleptics, if there's a loud noise or you scare them or something, there's whoa.
I want to meet someone who has that.
That's crazy. Yeah.
By the way,
you worry about those people in traffic.
right.
That
You
is
lean
true.
on the
A lot
horns
of
too
our
hard.
fans fall asleep
It's
during the
out
show,
of the way
Dick.
now.
So, yeah, we have a lot of narcoleptics that listen to Lockpod.
Are you a native New Zealander, or is that the right term, by the way, New Zealander? Or do we say okay?
Yeah, Kiwi.
All right. Are you native?
Yeah.
Because I noticed you don't really have that strong of an accent.
No, I was actually born in Canada.
Nice.
My father's Kiwi, and he always wanted to go to the U.S. And so when I was 9 years old, we moved from Winnipeg to New Jersey, and from there all over the U.S. So I lived in Southern California. I lived in Atlanta, in Missouri, and grew up in Minneapolis, in Edina, Minnesota. Spent a lot of time in Florida, twice in Florida. All over the U.S. And then about 10, 11 years ago, I've got myself an Alabama wife now, and good Southern belle. And I was working at CNN at the time, and I was just leaving there. I was kind of tired of that bit of that intense news schedule, and so we were thinking about at the time retiring in Colorado or something like that. And one day we'll go to New Zealand. She was like, "Let's cut the middleman out. Let's just go." And so we sold everything we had and put all our entire life basically onto a pallet and moved here about 10, 11 years ago and never looked back.
What's the weather like?
And they had to
is
take,
it
the weather's pretty, I don't know, is a mix between Seattle and Atlanta. any given time. So there's the temperature range is pretty steady. But like we have a rainy season that goes from, at least this year, from January till November. It's just been raining nonstop. But summer kicks up here in about a month.
Awesome.
I was going to say, we're getting ready for winter, and you are getting ready for summer. So we're getting ready to get real cold here, and you're getting ready to get real warm there. You know, Dick, another question as an intro question was, is Dick Wybrow your birth name, or is that a pen name?
No, it's Richard Wybrow, and I go by Dick. Actually, the first person to call me Dick was my father. But I think it's just he didn't laugh.
I didn't want to laugh there.
We were waiting for the punchline.
But no, Dick is a diminutive of Richard. So yeah, no, I go by Dick.
So tell me about Kane, Dick. I didn't have a chance to read it, unfortunately, but I was looking through it. It looks like a great book.
It's fun. It's a lot of people really seem to like it, and I don't want to spend too much time plugging the book. There's a lot more interesting things to talk about. But Kane basically it came from this idea. Like I said, I was in news, and there's an old adage in news: "Dog bites man." That's not a story, but man bites dog. That's a story. And it got me thinking more and more. It's like, what if I did turn that into a story? And so basically, Kane is about a wolf in British Columbia who gets bitten by a man who's infected. And then the next day he wakes up and he becomes human, a 6'7" French Canadian. Not French Canadian right away. He's raised by a couple in British Columbia. One of them is French. And so he learns the ways of humans. One of the things that he's not able to get into his head is driving. And so in his quest to find this man who bit him and find out the secret, because he wants to get back to his pack. He doesn't want to be human. You know, he was wolf, man. He's running around naked through the woods. He wants that again. And so as she's not able to drive, so he hires this, potentially she's part-time criminal, a young woman named Imelda, and she ends up driving for him. She becomes his driver, his Cato. And the two of them, they spend the majority of the book trying to find this biting man and the secrets to be able to get Kane back to the wolf world once again.
Love it.
And so it's a fun adventure. It's a fun story, and it's I never really struck out to write a monster book. It's not really a monster book. It's just more of a fun sort of thriller with supernatural elements in there, and people seem to think it's funny.
It seems like it is it looks like you've got a series of these books. So we've got one on our desk here that you can probably see. Is that the first book, and then there's multiple in the series?
So there's one, there's two, and number. Can I do this?
Yeah, please.
Here we go. Number 3. Look at number 3 comes out here.
So this is the first one. The one I'm holding right now. I'm in.
That's the first one.
Sounds like a great series.
Yeah,
I love this.
I think it'll be fun. It's difficult because I've never really been a genre writer. It's not a laugh right all the way through. It's not purposely funny like a Douglas Adams or something like that. But people do seem to find elements of the story very funny. What I really enjoyed from it was being able to tell. There's chapters where we see the world through Kane's eyes. He's our wolf man, and how he interprets the world, how he sees humans. And that actually is a lot of fun to do, to get into his head. So it's a kick.
Can I ask you a question? Because I've always thought about writing,
Sure.
and I wonder, actually talking to an author that's been successful doing this, how do you lay it out? Do you, first off, you set it up like every day, you have a certain time you have to write, and then do you start off with like an outline and then you fill in the details as you go along, or do you just start writing? Do you mind that question? I'm sorry if I...
Oh, no, not at all. Everybody has their own way. And so in a very simple sense, there are people called pantsers and plotters. And so plotters, as you can probably guess, like the Isaac Asimovs of the world, they sit and they plot everything out. This chapter, this, here are your beats. And then pantsers are people that go like, something like this, and you just start writing. And I think most authors are a combination of both. So what I do normally, when I first started writing, like, for example, the second Kane book, I kind of didn't know exactly what the second one was going to be about. I knew my characters, and that's once you have the emotional core of your characters and a bit of a goal in mind, you let the characters tell you the story. So basically what I'm doing, I'm the first reader because I know how nuts it sounds, how flaky it sounds, trust me. But I let these sort of voices sort of tell me the story, and I'm kind of, in a way, just sort of writing it down as I go. And then as I start to develop about a quarter of the way in, through the way in, I start to kind of structure it a bit. I know how it's going to end. And I kind of try to plot out in some vague way about 3-4 chapters out. But if you're thinking about writing a book, dude, it's an amazing experience. When those ideas start coming in that you're not pulling, but instead they're pressing down into you, it's one of the most amazing experiences I have ever had in my entire life. It's
so when you wake up in the morning,
so give it a
Dick,
shot.
you wake up in the morning, you just immediately hit the computer, or do you have like a certain time you do it?
Yeah, I actually have a day job at the moment right now. I'm in television, so I have 12-hour days, and so my day starts at about 3:45. I crank myself out. I try to hit the gym a couple days a week, and then I start writing, and then about 7:30 my day job begins. So I spend the first couple hours in the morning doing that, and that's how I crafted 3 books this year.
I was curious, Dick. You started out our interview talking about how sometimes you have book groups that you do, you do Skype with, or you Zoom in, or whatever it is. Because this is a series of books, do any of the Kane fans, any of their ideas, like, hey, I wish Kane would do this, or maybe he'll do this in the next book, does any of that end up kind of filtering into your thought process? Or that is a pretty, like, hey, that is a pretty good idea by that fan. Maybe I should incorporate that in.
I was talking to a group in the UK somewhere, and a couple of the people in that group were talking about, oh, I can't wait till we find out more about when he was growing up. I was like, yes!
Next book.
This next book.
Book 8. Yes, keep them going.
And actually, and that's what was so fun about it, having that sort of interaction, because it's a bit of a hive mind with the readers. And so sure enough, in this third book, there is a big part of it, which is we start to see those years when he was growing up as a kid, from wolf to human. And yeah, you're exactly right, that Kevin, that was something that was inspired by reader groups talking to me, saying that we're really interested. We can't wait till you start talking about that. It's like, oh yeah, sure, oh, yeah, of course that's coming. And now
tell me about Halloween in New Zealand, Dick. I heard it. Is it much different, or is it consistent with how we do it in America? You've been all around the world.
Yeah, it's our house it's a blowtorch right now. You come by our house and we stick out in this neighborhood. You know where the Americans live. I tell you that. We've got spiders hanging off the house. We've got tombstones out front. We've got a giant eyeballs on the garage. So Halloween is just becoming more and more of a thing over here. It's growing. But what's really neat, and we experienced this last year, is like in the U.S., I remember being a kid growing up, dressing up as, Paul Stanley or Gene Simmons' Kiss or something like that, right? Like, little chains and stuff that my mother made for me. But here they don't have, you can't go down to the CVS and just grab the Frankenstein mask with that stupid elastic band around the back. So these folks have to make their own costumes, kid to adult. And so last year we had people coming by, and they're all so polite. They're all so sweet. They'll take the one candy instead of, when I was growing up, it was, they come by. But all their stuff, you want to take a photograph of each one of them. They've all spent days and weeks on their stuff, and it's beautiful. It kind of reminds me what Halloween kind of looked like back in the 50s or 60s or something. It's real pure, and they do it really well, and they're really all in. It's really fun to see.
I was wondering, that Kane's obviously a series of books. Has there been any spin-off, like merchandise, or like is there a Halloween costume for Kane in New Zealand or anything like that? I mean, or is it at this point just a book series?
It's a book series, and I can say now that Podium Publishing, Podium Audio, has picked up the audiobook series. Within 2 weeks of the book being published, I got rung up by them. They said, listen, we want to turn this into something. Great. So the audiobook is going to be coming out here. The first 3 should be coming out very soon. So if you're an audiobook listener, keep an eye out for that. Kane should be on Audible very, very soon. It's funny you mentioned the merchandising, because I only published this here about 2.5 months ago. I just sort of started on this journey, but already I had a gym ask me about shirts, because they want to be able to. There's there's a phrase that Kane uses all the time, all through the books, comedically and otherwise, and he just goes, "I am Wolf." He never lies, and so he tells people all the time that he's Wolf, and most people are like, okay, dude. But so he says, "I am Wolf," and so there's a gym that actually contacted me asking if they can make shirts that say "I am Wolf," and they want to turn them into gym shirts. So yeah, so people are starting to create the merchandising, and as you say it, I'm starting to think, should I do something about trademarking or service marketing or something?
I think the answer to that's yes. Where can we? I assume Amazon is the best place to get the Kane book, but where is that? What you would recommend?
Yeah, Amazon. If you do your ebooks, get it in Amazon. If you prefer the paperback books, you can get that in Amazon. But it's also if you go, I think it's at Walmart and Barnes and Noble, places like that. It may not be in the retail store, but if you just go to their online stores, they all have it, the paperback available. If you're not into buying stuff on Amazon. Can
I ask you a question about New Zealand real quick, Dick? I knew a gentleman from Australia, and him and I got into a conversation about gun violence and how there was no gun violence at all in Australia because of the tight laws. I mean, you've been in America, you lived in America. Obviously, that's still a major issue going on over here. Is New Zealand have any gun violence at all, or?
Yeah. Yeah, and more so as the years progress. I mean, like the path of a lot of different countries, and the world feels a little bit crazy right now. And I suppose to some extent that's what we're seeing, the result of that. We had an incident here in Auckland right around the Women's Rugby World Cup in Auckland where there was a shooter there. There's an inquest going on right now. This looks back at what happened on March 15th here a couple of years ago when we had that guy with the mosque killings. So they take all this very seriously. And you would have spoke with a person in Australia who probably would have told you what happened after they had their big massacre, where they turned around and they said, you know what, guns, we don't like them. And they had a bunch of legislation to get rid of some of the assault rifles. And there's photographs of big piles of these weapons in Australia. There's more gun legislation happening in New Zealand. New Zealand is a big laissez-faire, kind of like, leave people to themselves. But they are looking at doing gun registries and that. It's not common for people to have guns unless you're on a farm. My wife's from Alabama. She's like, we're getting a gun.
Right.
I was like, okay.
But so you have gun violence, but it's not the same culture as in America where.
No. It's not celebrated anywhere, but it's not common here, I would say. Guns are not a common thing. If you met somebody who owned a gun, they'd be a bit of an outlier.
That's crazy. Well,
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dick. I'm stealing this book. I appreciate. This sounds like a great story. It sounds like a great series. I want to congratulate you because you had to be. Is this your first book when you wrote it?
No, I've got another series before that, but I'll be frank, it's the one I'm the most proud of. I've really enjoyed writing it, and I'm really heartened by some of the comments people have said to me about it.
That's Kane. I'm holding it in my hand here. We have a lot of people that listen to this podcast. I hope you sell a lot of books, Dick, because we're proud of you. You're a great guest. Thank you for coming on Lockpod. I did want to point out I don't wear tuxes every day. I did this just for you, so.
I wasn't going to say, I assume that you wore that every day.
This is how we roll on the podcast,
Well, why not?
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dick.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate you. Have a great day, and thanks for not telling us what happens tomorrow. We appreciate it, Dick.
But watch the sky.
Thanks. All right. What a great guest.
Yeah, it's great. And by the way, John, congrats on the furthest Skype ever on Lockpod.
That was pushing the bandwidth, man. I'm telling you.
I could tell, so I only get to see John, like the top of John's head in his headphones, and like I could see, and I usually know when he's like worried about something or intense on the production side, and he did not look up one. He was definitely focused.
When you guys all start texting each other.
Good work. I'm sorry. Good work, John.
Thanks.
Yeah,
he was good, right?
Really cool.
Do you like that, Jill?
Yeah.
Do you like werewolves, Jill, that get bitten by men?
I don't,
Not
but
really
I'm going to read this book. Though.
All right.
It's
a nice
you.
Halloween.
No, it sounds like a good book. Like
Halloween,
it's interesting, I don't know. That's really cool. And plus, just the fact that being able to talk to an author like that, and I know Dave Warple's an author also, and just being able to talk to
several
people
on.
Just like
around here.
That's right. Flipping the capital,
yes.
Flipping the circle, right?
That was pretty cool about
the Army guy, right?
Yeah, Halloween in New Zealand.
We need a shelf.
Yeah, it kind of sounds innocent in like the way it probably should be.
Should be
Yeah.
instead of like Now it's like all like adults like trick or treating.
Dude, no kidding.
Here.
Bizarre.
It's weird.
Like-
do you guys refuse to give them candy? Adults?
No.
Is there an age limit?
I'm an elected official, buddy.
I throw them in. I just
You could
want to
be-
get rid of the candy.
Dude, there's like 40-year-olds that come up and get candy from me.
But you frown upon it.
I frown upon it.
Sure.
I mock them a little bit.
like, oh, what are you dressed up as?
Sometimes I have like the candy bar, and then I'll have the caramel corn. Caramel. If I give you caramel corn, that's my disapproval.
Wow.
Or like a dude
Like,
will walk
caramel
up
corn,
and no costume. I'm like, oh, that's a nice princess costume you've got on, or something like that. Might say that.
Hey, chat, if you want to see Kevin and Tom wearing Halloween outfits on Tuesday, just put like a W.
I've never done that.
Put a W in the chat. They were talking about it earlier.
So
I think you guys need to show up with some Halloween costumes.
Want to hear my this is a funny story, and I'm not going to name names because it'll embarrass people, okay? But let's just say they're fans of the show. They back in the day, it was always like big parties, and they'd be like, hey, why don't you go and dress up, Mayor? And I'm like, if I ever dressed up for Halloween, I showed up, they'd put that shit on the internet.
Without a doubt.
Right? I'd have pictures of me out there. I could never have fun because I'd always be
Yeah.
worried about every picture I took, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's Halloween, don't worry about it. And these two in particular had really aggressive Halloween outfits every year, right? And then one year, right in the middle of my political race, they got plastered everywhere, including pictures of my family members and stuff like that. And guess whose picture wasn't in there?
Bingo.
Mine. It was funny.
That's why you're.
Well
that's
played.
why you're on top, man. That's why you're the mayor.
I'll wear a tux.
In a tux.
In a tux. That's
This
right.
is your Halloween costume.
This is my Halloween costume.
Well, thank you. That
Hey,
was
we
great.
did good. That was a good show.
Yeah, it's fun.
Solid. We
Yeah,
we
great
threw
show.
this show together.
Good
in
job,
like
Steve.
15 minutes last night, Joe.
That's because I was there.
Impressive.
We got shit done.
John Vesmar showed up for pre-show.
Yeah.
Oh, you got invited?
It's a guy's thing.
Here we
Jill?
go again.
It's a boys'
Pre-shows for
night.
guys only.
Tom's like,
There's-
I put my foot in
There's
my
no
mouth again with
things left
Jill.
for guys.
Guys have
There's no-
nothing
I
left.
have to guard it zealously.
Jill's like, what else can I be
She's
not
like
invited
every
to?
day, like every day of the year is like, guys.
It's a toss-up if she even shows up next Friday. To be honest.
Thanks, Joe. It's good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Jay Vez, awesome job with the New Zealand connection.
Thanks.
Dick Wybrow, thanks for coming on the show. Awesome.
It was his real name.
Yeah, Dick Wybrow and Kane is the book. It's a series. It seems very interesting. I'm gonna read the first one since we got it right here.
You're a reader.
There it is.
It would be ignorant not to. It's literally right here.
You gonna report back
waiting
to
for
us?
it. Yes.
I will. I'm gonna check it out. And if I don't report back, I didn't make it. But if I come back, so like I'm just gonna let you. If I come back and say it's awesome, it's awesome.
I just can't wait to see what you're going to wear next week. I mean, where do you go from here?
I know. Well, let's see how
The
the
joke's
Times
over,
respond.
like you said. The joke's over.
Dan Carden, that's for you and the Times.
Put the hat back on.
That's right. Oh, one more. Yeah.
One more time.
Yeah.
At the end. All right.
So, Kevin Chandler, good to see you.
Yes,
Compass,
sir.
thanks for coming on again, and to all of our fans out there, thanks for listening to Lockpod. We appreciate you. And Brett McDermott, 20 under 40, star of the class. No offense, Brett. Thanks everybody for listening to Lockpod. Lockpod's out.